Skin the Heart Away Slim T. Back with another EP. Y'all do your boy a favor as y'all roll on in. Y'all smash that like button. Y'all smash that like button for your boy. Today I'm here for a good time, not a long time. Today I'm here with a video. Subject surrounding the 130-pound division. In probably the best fighter at the 130 pound division. In Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson, was giving him an interview. Shakur Stevenson was giving an interview, and they asked him about how he feel about the landscape or the outlook of the 130 pound division, who he thought were the best fighters in and around. You know what I mean? That division, of course. Shakur Stevenson stated that he was the best fighter in that division. Don't think a lot of people are going to disagree with Shakur when it comes to that. You know what I mean? I agree with him. You know what I mean? But what he said, who he said was the second best person at 130 pounds, it shocked me a little bit. Now, it didn't shock me. Y'all saw what I did there? I'm going to explain later. Now, it didn't shock me. Shout out my guy, Charles Granger. Appreciate you sliding through this, John Charles. Y'all do your boy a favor. Smash that like button for your boy. Now, it didn't shock me, right, that, it didn't shock me, because the guy that he picked is a bad fighter or anything like that. It shocked me that the guy he picked, it was more so an underrated, under the radar fighter. Not many guys even know the name of the fighter that Shakur Stevenson thinks is the second best fighter, after himself. And Shakur Stevenson said something that I thought was highly interesting. I made a video, not too long ago about the guy that's mentioned by Shakur Stevenson, Shakur Foster. I myself, made a video about Shakur and Shakur and the possibility of them fighting. Now, let me give you a little background, story on this. Shakur Foster is the WBC silver champion. Shakur Foster has been the WBC silver champion for about maybe 2 years now. Maybe two, going on 3 years. He's currently ranked number 1 in the WBC. At least he was the last time I checked. These days, these rankings, they changing so much. They ever changing. It's hard to really know, who's exactly where at any given time. You could have one guy up here 1 week, and then the next week, you go back to check, and they got another guy, you never heard of up there in his spot all randomly. You know what I mean? But Shakur Foster has been ranked, and I said this has Shakur Foster has been ranked in the top 5 of the WBC for at least 3 to 4 years right now. He's been the WBC champion, silver champion for about 2 years right now. Now his name is Shakur Foster. His name used to be Shakur Shock Foster. You know what I mean? Shock. That's part of his name. I'm going to show y'all, exactly who we talking about. That Shakur Stevenson, gave so much credit and praise to. I'm going to read the article as well. Where I got this from, just to put a name with a face. Here's Shakur Foster. Here is the fighter that Shakur Stevenson feel like is the best fighter in that division outside himself. Now, I know the first thing that you're going to say, right? The first thing you're going to say, well, that fighter has 2 losses. How could he possibly be the second best fighter, in this division with 2 losses? Well, just to give you a real quick background on Shakur Foster. Shakur Foster is an Olympian. He does have an Olympic pedigree. You know what I mean? He is a guy who had a strenuous amateur career. He's also a guy who went pro, a little early, than people, expected him to or wanted him to, with him being such a good, amateur prospect. He turned pro. And but Shakur Foster is one of those guys who was immensely talented, extremely talented. But early in his career, like most boxers, he he had to work, jobs, and he had to, find other ways to maintain as well as be a boxer. You know what I mean? Real life hit O'Shaquie Foster. You know what I mean? And O'Shaquie Foster had to do a prison stint. And I think that is largely due to, O'Shaquie Foster, having those losses early, him not being all the way focused solely on boxing, him not being, able to, just strictly focus on his boxing career and becoming the best boxer that he could be. And there's no, I'm not making excuses for him, nothing like that. This is something that he said that he accepted, and he said that it would never happen again. You know what I mean? He said he'll never lose another fight, and I believe him because he hasn't lost a fight in about 6 or 7 years. Once O'Shaquie Foster, got all the way into boxing, once he got all the way into the gym, once he was able, to focus his career all the way on boxing, that's when O'Shaquie Foster's career, started to take off a little bit. O'Shaquie Foster was also, he's just getting out of a legal situation with Cameron Duncan. If I'm not mistaken, he had a little legal situation with Cameron Duncan. He's now with no, he had a legal situation with Lou DiBella. I'm sorry. He had a legal situation with Lou DiBella. You know what I mean? Him and Lou DiBella had to go to court for him to get away from up under that contract. And after he left Lou DiBella, you know what I mean, he signed to Pro Bellum. And ironically, Lou DiBella ended up working for Pro Bellum, you know what I mean? So by default, O'Shaquie Foster is kind of back under the guy, that he was having, the contractual situations with that kind of stalled his career a little bit. So Shakur Foster has been in prison. You know what I mean? When he first started boxing, he got caught up in the street life. You know what I mean? He was doing a lot of, street things, which caused him to go to jail, which, caused him to lose those matches, not being all the way focused in on boxing. But since he's gotten, out of jail, he's gotten back in the ring and he's got all the way focused. He hasn't lost since. And you see that 19 wins and 11 KOs. A lot of those KOs have came in his recent fights. His last 2 fights, Shakur Foster has, put each of those guys, out of there. He's gotten a KO win. So the Shakur Foster now, focused on Shakur Foster, mind right on Shakur Foster, only being worried about, boxing, not having to worry about his contractual situation with his promoters and all that. This O'Shaquie Foster, is a problem. Now I'm familiar with him. I wasn't too sure that Shakur Stevenson, was familiar with him. That's why when I heard Shakur Stevenson say that O'Shaquie Foster, was the second best fighter in the division, I thought that was pretty cool. I think that was cool of Shakur Stevenson, to give O'Shaquie Foster, some love, some well-deserving love. If y'all haven't seen O'Shaquie Foster's fight before, I'm telling y'all, y'all might want to check that out. Fan-friendly, kind of fighting style. Again, his last 2 fights have ended in stoppages. You know what I mean? So I just thought that was pretty cool, that Shakur Stevenson, took some time to give, O'Shaquie Foster his flowers. He said that O'Shaquie Foster, is the second best fighter in his division. I also think that's pretty cool. Yeah, he did. Shout out my guy, Heavy Bag. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all smash that like button for your boy when y'all roll on in. Greatly appreciate it if y'all could smash that like button for your boy when we roll on in. I'm about to read from the article exactly what Shakur Stevenson said about O'Shaquie Foster. Y'all give your boy a second to get to it. But in the meantime, in between time, I don't know if this y'all first time, but if y'all could not make it y'all last time, if y'all could hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. You know what I mean? I will greatly appreciate that. I'm about to read exactly what Shakur Stevenson had to say in regards to O'Shaquie Foster. World Super Featherweight Champion Shakur Stevenson rates O'Shaquie Foster as the second best fighter in his division. Stevenson, the WBA and the WBO title holder at 130, believes the American stylish Foster would defeat the rest of the contenders in the division. The Slick Foster is ranked as the number 1 WBC ranked fighter. It holds lofty positions with both the WBO and the IBF. So O'Shaquie Foster, the guy that Shakur Stevenson is talking about, the second best fighter at 130, he's number 1 in the WBC. and he also has pretty high ranking spots in the WBO and the IBF. My guy, Heavy Bag, said Foster is really being overlooked. Facts, bro. Those are facts. And I'm glad Shakur Stevenson, gave him his just due. As my brother Just Do Boxing slide on in the building. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all smash that like button for your boy. Y'all smash that like button for your boy Johnny Q. What's good, Johnny Q? Appreciate you sliding through this, John. Glad you can make it, Johnny Q. A fighter eliminator between Foster and Ramirez has been ordered by the WBC, with the winner in line to fight the U.S. superstar Shakur Stevenson. So the winner of Shakur Foster's next fight is going to be in line to fight Shakur Stevenson. And though the champion believes he will defeat his compatriot, he says the Texan is the best of the rest. You know what I mean? So although Shakur Stevenson is confident that he'll defeat Shakur Foster, he says that Shakur Foster is the best, outside of me. I'm going to tell you about a secret fighter that nobody knows about, and his name is Shakur Foster. These are Shakur Stevenson words on Brian Custer's podcast. I'm going to tell you about a secret fighter that nobody knows about, and his name is Shakur Foster. If he's 100% and will come in at his best, then I think he's the second best fighter in the division. I think he will beat the rest of the guys. I just don't think he will beat me. That's what Shakur Stevenson had to say about Shakur Foster. Foster floored Yakubov en route to points with the Probellum's Evolution card in March, would help him secure his number one status with the WBC. The 18-2 man, who's now 19-2, is part of a super featherweight chasing down the shot at Stevenson, which also include his Probellum stablemates Archie Sharp, Eduardo Hernandez. Sharp is a top contender under the WBO. He's been very vocal when it comes to getting the shot at Shakur Stevenson. So we have Shakur Stevenson giving Shakur Foster a little well-deserved praise. And the reason that I wanted to bring this to light is because I, for one, also, gave Shakur Foster a lot of high praise, in which Shakur Foster, deserves. True enough, this ain't me taking no shots at Shakur Stevenson either. True enough, Shakur Foster has been deserving, at a shot at this WBC title for a minute. The WBC has been moving real funny, when it comes to Shakur Foster for years. And I want to give Shakur Stevenson some double credit right now. I'm going to give Shakur Stevenson credit, for speaking up against Bob Arum all those years ago. Actually, last year, saying Bob Arum, don't want to give black fighters the fights that they want, and that he was protecting Valdez. And I also want to give Shakur Stevenson some credit again right now and bringing light to Shakur Foster, a brother who deserves some light, who is being overlooked. Who I agree with Shakur Stevenson in his light is the second best fighter at 130. You know what I mean? Outside of Shakur Stevenson, I like Shakur. I like the man that Shakur Stevenson is becoming. He's getting more vocal. You know what I mean? And he seems to have his head on in the right spot. You know what I mean? Now, he also told Shakur Foster, not too long ago, he said that he told Shakur Foster that you go get your shot, that you go get your shot one day. I guarantee you, you know what I mean? Now, I don't know if that meant that Shakur Stevenson will be fighting Shakur Foster at 130, or maybe he meant in the future. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna lie. And I made an EP on this Southern T, you know what I mean, a while back about Shakur Foster and Shakur Stevenson. You know what I mean? This is a fight, that very well could happen. This is a fight that very well could happen. You know what I mean? Especially, when you consider how highly ranked they all are in the WBC. I'm going to take you guys to a video. Now, I'm not gonna play it. I'm just gonna take you to a video that I made, a while back, pertaining these two particular guys. You know what I mean? I'm gonna see. I do this because I've been following, Shakur Foster and his story for a minute, man. I'm high on these fighters, and I'm glad that Shakur Stevenson is able to recognize, other great fighters. You can see my live stream. It says Shakur Stevenson and the WBC silver champion Shakur Foster agree to a future showdown. You know what I mean? So this fight has been, sometime coming. You know what I mean? With these two particular fights, I'm going to click it so I can see exactly when I made this jump. so I can see exactly when I've been following this, for a minute. Shakur Foster is a guy that I've been high on. You know what I mean? Quick fighter, real good with his hand, real quick with his hands. I made this fighter in May. I made this in May 2022. You know what I mean? So this is something that I've been, around and up on for a minute type deal. I'm excited about it. And Shakur Stevenson, basically just coming here, seconding what I'm saying. You know what I mean? This kind of got me a little excited for Shakur Foster and Shakur Stevenson fight. But, rumblings around town is Shakur Stevenson won't be at 130-pound division too long. You know what I mean? So maybe this is just him, giving Shakur Foster, some light. So maybe, people will have their eyes on Shakur Foster, when he decides to lead that division. But I will say this, and I'm very confident in this. I will go out on the limb and say that Shakur Foster will be, a champion one day. Whether he will be the WBC champion or whatnot, I'm not sure about. But I guarantee you, Shakur Foster will be a champion one day. Can't guarantee you he go fight Shakur Stevenson, even though that's a fight that I want. You know what I mean? That's another one of those, late those laying low, late night in the dark fights that's, that people want. Those underground fights that people want, like Speedy Rashidi Ellis and Jerome Boots Ennis. This is another one of those fights that I think, underrated fight that I think would be, a banger. But I ain't gonna keep y'all in this thing too long. I am gonna do a live stream in about an hour and a half. I'm gonna give y'all a formal live stream, but I just want to drop in real quick and let y'all know what Shakur Stevenson had to say about Shakur Foster. I need y'all to be on the lookout for Shakur Foster, because that man will be doing big things in this boxing world in the time to come. Don't always, be the last one to the party. If you get it in now, you ain't gotta pretend it like you knew Shakur Foster when he become, that champion that he will be. Again, Shakur Foster does have 2 losses. So when you go check out his resume, people like to throw people away after 1 loss these days. So when you go check his resume and it says 2 losses, understand that those 2 losses came at an earlier point in his career before he was able to get all the way serious with boxing. Those 2 losses came at a point in his career where he had 1 foot in the game and 1 foot out the game. He also went to jail earlier in his career. So understand, there was a lot going on with Shakur Foster. But now, and Shakur Stevenson said it best, if Shakur Foster comes in 100% and is all the way focused on boxing, he's the best guy in the division, you know what I mean, after me. You know what I mean? So shout out Shakur Stevenson, you know what I mean, for giving Shakur Foster his well-due, just deserved credit. Y'all be on the lookout for Shakur Foster, because their boy is a problem. Skin the Hardaway Southern T. This ain't the past, this ain't the future, but this the present. That's how we rocking. And I'm out. Love. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all hit that like button and subscribe to the channel on your way in and on your way out.